Are you afraid of how quickly paradise can turn into a nightmare? In the blink of an eye, the peaceful Baisaran Valley in Pahalgam, Kashmir, known as the mini Switzerland of India, was transformed from a haven of beauty into the scene of unimaginable horror. On April 22, 2025, families who came seeking joy and escape were instead caught in a tragedy that would scar the region forever. The laughter, the music, the promise of spring, all shattered in a single terrifying moment. Militants opened fire on innocent civilians, turning what was meant to be a day of joy into a scene of honestly unimaginable carnage. The sound of laughter and music was replaced by the deafening roar of gunfire, and the valley echoed with screams of terror and confusion. In a matter of moments, the lush green meadows were stained with blood, and the air was thick with fear and disbelief. 26 lives were brutally cut short, 25 Indians and 1 Nepali tourist. Each victim had a story, a family, dreams that would never be fulfilled. The loss was not just a number, but a devastating blow to the heart of the community. Families out for a holiday, children experiencing the joy of springtime, all gunned down in cold blood. The valley, once alive with the sounds of play and celebration, was now eerily silent, haunted by the memories of those lost. As the echoes of gunfire faded, the true horror of the situation unfolded. The aftermath was a scene of utter devastation, with families torn apart and a community left in shock. The valley, once a symbol of hope and renewal, now bore the scars of senseless violence. The injured lay scattered across the valley floor, their cries for help echoing through the mountains. Many were too afraid to move, fearing the attackers might return. The wounded, some barely conscious, clung to life as best they could, hoping for a miracle. But there were no police, no army personnel to come to their aid. The absence of security forces in such a critical moment left the victims vulnerable and alone, deepening the sense of abandonment and fear. It was the local villagers, the very people who called this valley home, who rushed to help. Without hesitation, they put their own lives at risk, driven by compassion and a sense of duty to their neighbors and guests. They loaded the injured onto mules, their traditional mode of transport, and made the treacherous journey down to the nearest hospital. The path was steep and dangerous, but the villagers pressed on, determined to save as many lives as possible. Their courage and resilience in the face of terror became a beacon of hope amid the darkness. The attack on Baisaran Valley has once again brought the vulnerability of ordinary citizens in the face of terror to the forefront. It exposed the fragility of peace in a region long plagued by conflict, and the ever-present threat that shadows daily life. It has left behind a trail of unanswered questions, a deep sense of insecurity, and a simmering anger against a system that seems to have failed its people. The community's grief quickly turned to outrage, as calls for justice and accountability echoed from the valley. As we mourn the loss of innocent lives, we must also ask ourselves, how could this happen? How could a place so full of life and promise be reduced to a scene of such horror and loss? And more importantly, how can we prevent such tragedies from occurring in the future? The answers are not simple, but the need for change is urgent. Only by coming together, as a community, as a nation, can we hope to restore peace to this paradise and ensure that such horror is never repeated. The attack on Baisaran Valley has exposed a glaring security lapse, one that honestly raises serious questions about the preparedness and responsiveness of our security apparatus. In a region already marked by tension and past incidents, the expectation is that security would be not just present, but vigilant and proactive. Instead, what unfolded was a shocking absence of protection, leaving both locals and tourists vulnerable in a place that should have been a sanctuary. This was not a remote, inaccessible location. Baisaran, often called Mini Switzerland for its picturesque meadows, is a popular tourist destination. Its beauty draws thousands every year, making it a vital part of the region's tourism economy and a symbol of peace and normalcy in Kashmir. It sees a significant influx of visitors, especially during the spring season. Families, adventure seekers, and nature lovers flock here, expecting not just breathtaking views, but also a sense of safety that should come with such a well-known destination. Given the valley's popularity and its location in a sensitive region, one would expect a visible security presence. Regular patrols, checkpoints and surveillance should be the norm, not the exception, especially in a place that has seen unrest in the past. Yet, on that fateful day, there were no security forces at the site. No checkpoints, no patrols, no one to deter the attackers or respond swiftly to the crisis. The absence was not just a gap, it was a chasm, one that left everyone exposed. This complete absence of security personnel raises serious concerns. It's not just about one incident, it's about a pattern of neglect that could have far-reaching consequences for the region's reputation and the safety of its people. How could such a popular tourist spot be left unguarded, especially in a region grappling with militancy? The lack of basic security measures is not just an oversight, it's a failure that puts lives at risk and undermines trust in the authorities. The lack of immediate response time further compounds the tragedy. Every minute lost meant more suffering for the victims and more fear spreading among those who witnessed the chaos. It was the local villagers who acted as first responders, using their own resources to ferry the injured to safety. Their courage and quick thinking saved lives, but it also highlighted the vacuum left by those meant to protect. This begs the question, why was there such a delay in the arrival of security forces? And why are ordinary citizens left to fend for themselves in the face of such attacks? The answers are not just important for Baisaran, but for every place that aspires to be safe, welcoming and resilient in the face of adversity. The Baisaran attack has eerie echoes of the 2019 Pulwama attack, a tragedy that left a deep scar on the nation's collective memory. The shockwaves from that day still reverberate, reminding us of the fragility of peace in the region and the ever-present threat of violence. In Pulwama, a suicide bomber targeted a CRPF convoy, killing 40 soldiers in a single devastating moment. The attack was not just an assault on the security forces, but a blow to the nation's sense of safety and unity. The pain and outrage that followed were felt across every corner of India. In both the Pulwama and Baisaran cases, there were intelligence inputs warning of potential attacks. These warnings, painstakingly gathered by intelligence agencies, were meant to prevent such tragedies from unfolding. Yet, in both instances, these crucial warnings were seemingly ignored or not acted upon with the urgency required. The consequences of such oversight are devastating, leading to loss of innocent lives and eroding public trust in the system. This raises a crucial question: why are intelligence inputs, which could save lives, not acted upon with the seriousness they deserve? Is it complacency, bureaucratic red tape, or a lack of accountability that allows such lapses to occur again and again? How many more lives must be lost before we learn from our mistakes? Each attack leaves behind shattered families, grieving communities, and a nation searching for answers that never seem to come. The lack of security for ordinary citizens stands in stark contrast to the elaborate security arrangements made for VIPs. While the powerful move in protected convoys, the common man is left exposed to the dangers that lurk in the shadows. Politicians and bureaucrats move around with multiple layers of security, their movements closely guarded by armed personnel. Their safety is treated as paramount, with resources and manpower dedicated to shielding them from harm. Yet ordinary citizens visiting tourist spots, going about their daily lives, are left vulnerable, easy targets for those who wish to spread terror. The people who form the backbone of the nation are forced to fend for themselves, often with little or no protection. This disparity in security highlights a disturbing truth. The lives of ordinary citizens are not deemed as valuable as those in positions of power. The message is clear: some lives are protected at all costs, while others are left to face danger alone. The government needs to answer why there is such a blatant disregard for the safety and security of its citizens. Why does the system fail to protect those who need it most time and again? How can we, as a nation, accept a system that prioritizes the security of a few while leaving the majority vulnerable? Until this fundamental imbalance is addressed, the echoes of Pulwama and Baisaran will continue to haunt us, serving as grim reminders of the cost of neglect and the urgent need for change. The Baisaran attack is not just a tragedy, it is a wake-up call. It is a stark reminder of the human cost of indifference, of a system that has failed to protect its own. As the nation mourns the loss of innocent lives, we must demand accountability. We need to ask tough questions and demand concrete answers. Who is responsible for the intelligence failure that led to this attack? Why was there no security presence at a popular tourist spot in a sensitive region? Why is there such a vast difference in the security provided to VIPs and ordinary citizens? The government cannot remain silent. It must address these questions and take concrete steps to ensure the safety and security of all its citizens. The Baisaran attack has left a deep scar on the nation's conscience. It is a chilling reminder of the ever-present threat of terrorism and the urgent need for a more robust and equitable security apparatus. It is time for the government to move beyond rhetoric and take concrete action. The lives of its citizens depend on it.